So welcome everybody. I'm going to go ahead and get started with the course. Let's see if I can get my screen shared here. And can you see it okay?
Yeah.
Wonderful. So thank you so much for joining me. I'm Becky Raney, and I have been doing the AromaTouch technique, gosh, for about 13 years now. And again, we were asked the question before we got started with this, how do you make money with the AromaTouch technique? And I'm really hoping to share with you some of the beautiful ways that you can actually earn an income. And this is a picture of me in Jaipur back in 2022. I had the pleasure of going to the Ayurvedic hospital where they were teaching Ayurvedic doctors. It's a educational hospital where all these students and doctors came. I mean, the room was packed to learn how to do the AromaTouch technique, and I just was just beaming with pride that everybody was so interested and really taking this on as one of their therapy for the healing. And so this was designed by Dr. Hill, and Dr. Hill is one of the founders of doTERRA. Dr. Hill is an incredible human being. I love him very much. I had the pleasure of meeting with him several times in person. I have photos with them somewhere in my photo catalog of 13 years of doTERRA stuff. And he's just an incredible person. And he designed this aroma touch and there's also a hand technique, so you can do it on the back as well as the hand technique to provide an uplifting experience and a nice way for people to be introduced with essential oils and actually do a lot of benefits for their bodies. So this technique is designed more for personal use, right? It's not really designed to be in the hospital. However, it is a really powerful modality for doctors to take on. Many Ayurvedic doctors, it's really powerful for that. So Yvonne, I'm going to go ahead and make you co-host as well, so that way you can mute people if you don't mind for me. Um,
Yeah.
okay, thank you. It's sometimes it's a little bit distracting when I hear noises in the background and roosters crowing and stuff. Okay, so as we talk about this aroma touch technique, a lot of people want to know what it is. What is it? Well, we can't really call it a massage because massage is like deep tissue. It's one of those things where you get in there and you really work those muscles and whatnot and work out the toxins in the body. It's not Reiki. Reiki is also a therapy described as calm healing or energy healing type of practice. It's not that. But it's a feather light touch of applying the oils in a sequence of events on the back to be able to help with so many things in the body. But first, maybe some of you are new to the call today, and I want to welcome you. And if you are, just put a one in the chat, say, I'm new. And if you are a seasoned essential oil advocate, say, I would like to know how many months you've been with us with doTERRA. Go ahead and put that in the chat too. That's really fun to hear the experience that everybody has. And as you're learning these essential oils, every time I come to a class, I learn something new. And I've been doing this for 13 years, so you never stop learning. And what are essential oils? Essential oils are natural aromatic compounds found in plants. They're steam distilled or cold press extracted, so they're very concentrated. When you look at this little picture here, this is a picture of a peppermint leaf zoomed in, where you can see the essential oil sac on the back of the leaf with a little thistly hairs protecting those oil sacs. And it's very potent. They're 50 to 70 times more powerful than herbs. And so when you take one drop of peppermint oil, it equals um, 28 cups of peppermint tea. And it's just an incredible way to be able to get these oils in you and on you and around you with that potency. They're powerful, safe, without any side effects. So why do we want to use essential oils? Well, doTERRA essential oils are certified pure, tested grade. They're so powerfully potent, pure. That renders them very, very effective. So they can actually penetrate the cell wall and they can go to work on our body's behalf. Essential oils can help calm and reduce and relax our body and reduce the stress. They can uplift us. They can reduce pain and inflammation. They can help the body and support them with burns, cuts, rashes. They reduce congestion, aid in breathing, pretty much so many things, right? I can't imagine one thing that these essential oils can't help our bodies with. So we can go through and talk on and on and on about all the benefits of the oils. But today we are going to really talk about this wonderful procedure that AromaTouch can provide for our bodies. So this is a technique involving 8 oils in the 4 steps that we have. And so I'm going to go through and do my best to show you the different steps. I'm not going to show you on a body. We're just going to do this as drawings and images there. You can actually purchase this essential oil kit called the AromaTouch kit and actually do a class online in the back office for free when you purchase the kit and really practice this procedure. The technique requires about 30 minutes to 40 minutes. I tend to take a little longer. Maybe I'm a little slower with that. And I think that it's just a really great way to connect with the body and to be able to work with the heartbeat and the blood and the circulation in the body. So there are multiple applications and steps that we use to apply the oils. And each of these steps address different processes of the body. So, step one is going to support the stress management. Of course, we all love lavender and balance. Balance oil. Oh my gosh, I love the balance oil. When I take a shower every morning, I get out of the shower, I always rub a little bit on my heart and just take a big, huge, deep breath. And I'm always surprised how just even in the morning, how stressed I already am, right? And so this is just a wonderful way to help support my body during the day. The immune support is step two, where we're working on the on guard. On guard and tea tree oils are really powerful for immune support. Step three is inflammation. You know, the cause of many diseases is inflammation, right? So if we can help get on top of that inflammation in this way, and the beautiful AromaTouch oil is just an incredible oil for, oh my gosh, I love putting that in bath salts and putting it in the bath too. The smells very uplifting for me. I love it. Then the last step is to kind of like close everything off, just kind of settle the body back into a balance of wild orange and peppermint, giving us a homeostasis. And it's actually with wild orange and peppermint, it's very uplifting. We can get up off the massage table and get started for the rest of the day. So this is what it's addressing. Many of us walk around all stressed out. How many of you guys are stressed out? Sometimes I wonder if I'm addicted to stress. You guys, if you think you're addicted to stress, you're not alone, that's for sure. Toxic insult, of course, you know, I've been to Delhi and Mumbai, and you get off the plane and it's just my eyes start burning because there's so much pollution. And I live in a very quiet neighborhood of 7,000 people. There's not much of a population where I live, so there's not any pollution. And I'm not used to that. And so when you're living it in that environment all the time, there's so much toxic insult that you get used to it. And we wonder why we get so sick. Our bodies can't deal with that over and over and over again. And then we get more inflammation in the body, right? So then the body starts to yell at us and starts to get mad. And then the autonomic imbalance is where we start to really put things back in order and back in place and getting us back into homeostasis to support. So these 4 areas, again, I just went through them in a detail, but if you wanted to take a screenshot of this so you can um, be present to what those details are with each of those steps. And I can provide you the PowerPoint to you guys. I have no problem with that afterwards. Okay, so systematic constants. Can't even say half of these words. It's 6:30 in the morning for me, you guys. So most individuals encounter factors in life from both our internal, external environments. So we can influence the overall health and well-being by using these oils. So such challenges, even when we do not directly result in disease, cause our bodies to function at a suboptimal level, meaning when I had my major food allergies, I had food allergies my whole life, but I didn't know it. So I kept insulting my body using these foods, and it kept yelling and getting louder and louder and louder. And my grandma, she died of colon cancer. And so she probably had the sensitivities to the same foods as I did, but just never dealt with it, right? And so when we're looking at all the toxins in our environment, all the stresses that we're dealing with, our body gets beat up and worn down. So we really want to do this technique over periods of time, sometimes maybe once a week if you're having a more higher acuity of health issues. And other times we can go through and, maybe once a month and just kind of get our body uh, another chance to get back in balance. So, different factors that we face in our daily life can impact our overall well-being. So, this has multiple benefits. Again, the 8 specific oils. We know even just the one oil, frankincense, has so many powerful things, right? So, when we look at deep blue or tea tree, lavender is a Swiss Army knife. So, even if we feel like we're doing pretty good, you can still benefit from the relaxation of this process. One of the other things that's really important is like during the pandemic, I think one of the things that the pandemic taught us is to stay away from people. Like we lost the human touch. We lost that connection. And I believe that so many people want to belong to like doTERRA so we can belong to something. We can connect with people that are like-minded. But we also have that touch that is so important. Touch is the first sense we develop when we are born. Isn't that amazing? When you think about it, our eyes aren't open yet, right? We can't see clearly. And so the touch is so important so the baby can know the mom is there. The right kind of touch can lower blood pressure, lower cortisol levels, and lower the heart rate. This is huge. Cortisol levels is that hormone of that flight or fight response. So when we think about the stress that we have in our bodies, that cortisol level kicks up, then we have thyroid issues and all these other things start to happen. And it's really important, you guys, to really manage our stress levels. Aroma touch is a light, consistent touch, and it's a rhythmic pattern. So, when you hear about the monks, in Tibet or in Nepal, where they meditate and they do that, when we have that repeated pattern, that is very therapeutic and very meditative. And so, doing this, the touch where you use your hands, you're being almost meditative in that respect, and that brings that heart rate, lowers it, and everything. Okay, so visceral contact points. So we all know that we have the visceral nerve, the whole nerve system in our back and our spine, and we have all these touch points in our body. And a lot of these touch points, like acupuncture, we have them in our ears, we have them in our feet, we have them in our hands, we have them all over our body. And I didn't know about this, these meridians and all these different things in our body. When I had my food allergies at the highest level, like I was really messed up, I all of a sudden came down with frozen shoulder. I don't know, does anybody know what frozen shoulder is? Frozen shoulder is like all of a sudden my arm could not move. And it was just like within a matter of a day. And it was frozen, like I couldn't move it. People couldn't touch me because it hurt so bad. That's my body yelling at me saying, "You have a problem. Wake up, Becky. Pay attention." And it's all to do with the nerve endings and the system meridians that exist in our body. There are 3 parts to our body known as to contain the entire visceral contact points. Again, these are the hands, the feet, and the ears. Isn't that incredible? You think your ears wouldn't be big enough to handle all that information, right? But our body's so intelligent. It's so incredible. And so we use those 3 areas in the AromaTouch technique to be able to address all those meridians. So here's the reflexology chart. You can Google a bunch of these. This is the simple one that I found. It's probably maybe too simple, but in lieu of the presentation today, I wanted to get you an idea if you're not familiar. And if you have like tummy issues, you just want to massage the arch of your foot, and you can use digestion right there. Isn't that incredible? And if you have a sciatic nerve issues, you can do the heel of the foot. And if you have anything going on with the brain and the head and the neck, you massage your feet, like memory, all that stuff is just all on your toes, I mean. So really incredible some of the things that we can really reach. And so we want to spend a good amount of time on each of these areas so that way we're addressing a lot of them. Here's another acupuncture points for the ear. And when we do the AromaTouch massage, we do this over the ear. And just think about all the different things. We're addressing the kidney, we're addressing all these things around the body. And the reason why this infant in the womb picture is there is that looks like the ear. So if you have a hard time remembering what the body, what's going on in the ear, just visualize the infant like this. So the head, all the different thyroids, you got the stomach area around this part, and then the whole back and the spine as you go around. Isn't that amazing? So incredible when you think about how our body's designed. And then here again is some of the regions and the points that we're going to be working with and talking about. I just thought it was important to share with you one of these slides as well. Okay, now research has exhibited that touch can communicate multiple emotions. Now, I'm also a certified essential emotions coach, and I don't know if you guys know that I work at a suicide center a couple days a week for a few hours a day, helping bring down the acuity of the high intensity of the emotions that people have. And so, an aroma touch is a really great way to be able to communicate to people with their depression and different emotions that could be existing there. And so we're providing love, we're providing gratitude and sympathy, supporting their fears and their angers with astounding exactness through this process. And so maybe when we're talking about other modalities or ways that this AromaTouch technique can be helping people is maybe working at a mental support place, like, if we have a hospital and things like that. It's really important, especially after the pandemic. We have so many people struggling with this, and we're really busy at that center, I'm afraid to say. And so they called me in to bring the essential oils in to be helping people with this part. And I felt it was really important to bring this up because now more than ever, we are called as wellness advocates to help and support people. This is not about just the business. This is bigger than you. This is making a huge difference for our people in our community and creating those bonds and that connection with people. Along with the emotional component, gentle touch can also influence physiological response in a way other communications cannot. So, unlike massage, which involves the powerful hand movements that are focused on specific outcomes, right? The AromaTouch massage or the AromaTouch technique has much different spectrums of benefit. That tender touch, again, is so important. And I know I keep bringing this up, but this is not a deep tissue massage. Okay, so it's just a feather light touch on the back. It's going to actually um, instantaneously activate the release of oxytocin, often returs the love hormone, and it decreases the heart rate and the blood pressure. This is really important to talk about how maybe even if you had a clinic and you went to a retirement home or went to a community and just had a day clinic for everybody to give people this technique just to help support the community. So the Roma touch technique is creating emotional connection, like we're saying, it's tactile, it's receiving tactile signals in the womb, and then touch is a critical role in parent-child relationships for more verbal communication. Isn't that incredible? So even pregnant women can have this technique. Um, you can even give it to babies, but you want to be sure to dilute it and make sure that we're properly using these oils, okay? Um, this is also talking about the first sense we require when research has shown that emotional communication is very effective through touch, nearly as effective as words and facial cues. So, not only touchable to communicate the tone of emotion, whether it's positive or negative or intense or subtle, it may also allow precise differentiation between types of emotion. So, I've always wondered, like, talking to different cultures, we have many people in India that speak different languages, right? And so this is a way that we can reach out and actually communicate to people no matter their language, no matter their background and their cultural beliefs. Here's another powerful slide for a screenshot, and I apologize, it's not very clear because I had to scan this one in. But this is a quick reference chart. And this is a really good one to print out and have next to you when you're doing the technique because sometimes you kind of get confused like I do. I get so into what I'm doing, I forget which step I'm on. And so this is a nice reference chart, and we're just going to go through and talk about the different steps. So like step one, we're going to have an oil introduction. And then step two, we're going to do the alternating palm slides. Now I'm going to show you what these are. I just wanted to show you what we're going to go into next, okay? So again, you can do a screenshot of this. This is a really great videos showing you of each one of each of the oil introduction and all the different techniques. So this is a really good one to do when you actually purchase the kit. They will go into more detail than this, but I'm not teaching you how to do the technique today. I'm just showing you and explaining to you how you can use this as a money-making opportunity and why it's so important to have in your plethora of skill set. Okay, so step one, again, we talk about stress management, and this is a really great picture, I think. It's a way you hold the hands on the back. So basically, what you want to do is you want to take the fractionated coconut oil and you rub it on the back. Now, when we have the client laying face down on a massage table, it could be on the side of a bed, it can be on a couch perhaps. Um, they don't take their pants off, okay? You just uh, have them have sweatpants on or pajamas or something where they have it. We like to call it just down to the great divide. You just lay the pants, pull them down just to the great divide there. And then for women, they can wear a shirt backwards and then they lay down and then they can open the shirt up on the back side. I always like to tell people to take their jewelry off because the jewelry, the necklace, the earrings will be in the way. And then they need to take their socks off because we will be addressing the feet as well. So when the client is laying down, um, we want to begin the oil introduction with the balance oil by moving around. And this is the way that I like to talk about the way I connect with the body. So when I lay the hands on the back and I just do a circular motion 3 times, I actually try to listen to their heartbeat. I try to connect with a person so that I'm not rushing through it and making the experience really intense, right? You want to just really calm yourself down. Sometimes I'll be playing really soft music on my iPhone. You can use a computer or a radio or something to find some really nice massage, meditative music, right? And so you can just do the introduction, 3 clockwise palm circles. Now, the reason why we use balance oil at this point in time is balance oil creates a sense of calmness, right? It's also starting the AromaTouch and it creates a great initial bond between the giver and the receiver. This point of time of the AromaTouch is really critical for you to really set the pace of what you're doing for the rest of the technique, okay? Now, step two, oh, I'm sorry. I guess we're going to show you what we're going to do in step two. This is an alternating palm slide. So one of the things that you do is you have the coconut oil on the back. We just introduced the balance oil by doing 3 palm slides and stretching it to the tail and the back of the neck, and then we release. It's really important to know that when you introduce the next oil, you drop it along the spine of the back and then you use your little fingers. I don't know if you can see me in the screen, but you use your little fingers and you lightly move them up to the neck. And I like to alternate my fingers and just lightly bring the oils along the spine. When you do that 3 times, then you do the alternating palm slide. And that is basically using the palm of your hand and you start at the spine and then you bring them slowly to the side of the back. So these pictures aren't really the best, but I'm just kind of giving you an idea. You're not going to be learning this technique without doing the training on the video. And then the 5 activation is where we start at the Great Divide down here, and then we drag our hand along the back. The first one is down the middle of the spine to the head, and then we slowly work our way to the edge of the back. And then the second step is we do this wonderful little circular motion around the shoulder blades and then above the head. And then we do that again 5 times, working our way around the back. Okay, so number 2 is then taking the alternating palm slide and the 5 zone activation in that step. So you don't want to lift your hands off the body. So I don't know, has anybody ever had a massage and they're kind of wondering what the heck is the masseuse doing? They're walking around the room and you're kind of wondering what the heck. So you always want to leave your hand on the on the recipient. So have your oils close to you, like maybe on a little stool or a little shelf next to you. There's also aprons. You can put them in your apron. I find that a little difficult to do because you have to use both hands sometimes to get the oil out. Um, you can also take the oil bottles and use a dropper. So you can purchase those droppers on Amazon that do fit these bottles. And then if you had the oils in your apron, you can just use the dropper really nicely. It's a nice way to not have to open up the oils or whatnot. So then you're going to perform the alternating slide, then you're going to do the 5 zone activation, and then you're going to do the arcular with the lavender. You're going to do this is the only time we work on the ears. You guys remember lavender has over 200 different healing constituents to it. So it's really a powerful oil. It's like the Swiss Army knife of oils. So you're going to take the oil and you're going to just circular over the ear, and then you slide your finger back down, and then you do it 3 times. It is a weird feeling, but it is amazing feeling. So this is a really incredible oil for that. The word lavender means to be washed. Did you know that? In French, it means to be washed. And so this is a really great first oil, an oil to use in the first series of our AromaTouch technique is to help with that. How are we doing here, Yvonne? Anybody have any questions?
A couple of comments, but no actual questions.
Okay, great. Good. Okay. Now, step number 3 is going to be the Melaleuca, or we call that the tree tea oil. Now, Melaleuca, it used to be called Melaleuca with doTERRA, and that's the scientific name, but everybody calls it tea tree. So Melaleuca or tea tree, again, we do the alternating palm slide and then the 5 zone activation. So tea tree is used for over 90 different compounds, and it really is limitless in application. So it's a very powerful antiviral, antibacterial oil. And when we're talking about pathogens like in the hospitals and stuff, you can get MRSA, like all the different strains that are out there, especially with the a lot of unsanitary environments that we find in our societies. It's really important to build up our immune system with that. And the cleansing ability of Melaleuca also, that's why it's number 3, because it's going to help with cleansing, really help with those uh that part of the body. Okay, so next, step number 4 was immunity. Of course, everybody loves On Guard. On Guard is like, I have it right here. I love it in my coffee, believe it or not. So I'm sure it's really good in tea, but I have it every day. And so this is just another wonderful way to be introducing the oil in our body. Of course, On Guard has an amazing fragrance due to the citruses, the wild orange and the clove and the cinnamon, the rosemary, and the significance of using the wild orange. More than ever, we need to really build up our immune system and help with that subtle risk of our overall health. Like again, going out and especially when we're traveling, I always have On Guard with me on the plane and so forth. It's so important. Now, I hope all of you notice that there's one more technique called the thumb walk tissue pull. Now, this is also done on the back. And when we take our hands, we do a circular motion up the spine. Most people say that this is their favorite part of the AromaTouch technique because it really gets into the spine. So, you know how you have your little bumps on the back with the spine bones? You just kind of massage around, not massage, don't want to use that word, but you just want to take your thumb and just circular around on the outside of the spine all the way up to the neck. And I usually go up to where the skull attaches to the spine, and then you do it again. Now, It's kind of tricky to do because you got your little fingers here and you don't want to tickle the person, right? So you want to lift up your fingers so that you're not tickling the person and just make sure you go through and do that technique. Okay, then again, we're going to introduce the AromaTouch oil. This oil is a blend of basil, which is those herbs are huge for helping support our body. It's also, we got again, grapefruit, which is a cleansing oil, cypress, which is really good for the lymphatic system. So cypress oil is really good for bringing down swelling in the body. Um, and again, peppermint and lavender, marjoram. Marjoram is another powerful oil for helping with the tissues in the back. Again, we're just going to do the alternating palm slide and the 5 zone activation. So then the next oil will be step number 6 with deep blue. Oh my gosh, deep blue is an incredible oil. I think it's one of the more popular ones besides of the peppermint and the on guard. So deep blue, of course, everybody know what deep blue is good for. It's good for inflammation, right? And so we're really working and helping calm those nerves down, achy joints down, discomforts in the body. Inflammation is really chronic to our body. So if we can help really get on top of that, inflammation is shown to cause disease and to create decrease immunity. So if we can really work on that, this step is really important. Now I'm going to bring up another point. I've talked to people who, oh, I'm going to replace that oil and I'm going to do a different oil. No, you want to use these 8 oils. They were very carefully chosen on purpose for this system. And I really just want to stress that because you can see just as I'm going through each step, they really are carefully chosen. Dr. Hill really knows what he's doing. And don't substitute these oils for something else. So step number 7, now we're going into the homeostasis, right? The whole really I just want to say something else too. Usually by the time I get to step 6 with the deep blue rub, my husband is sleeping. When I give this technique to my husband, he's snoring, like he's sleeping. I have about 80% of my participants fall asleep on me. It's really pretty funny. Then when I go to the feet, so I take the blanket and I put it over their back. I cover their back up. And then I go down to the feet and uncover the feet. And I take the wild orange, and I actually first I'm going to take the fractionated coconut oil and I'm going to rub it on the feet, and then I'm going to do wild orange. Do wild orange first. You don't want to do them together. Put wild orange on, and then you go back and you put the peppermint on. You want to do that in a layered performance, not together. And the reason for that is the wild orange needs to do its work, and then the peppermint is a driver. Okay, so the peppermint is going to push that wild orange into the body more quicker. So we have the 3 regions in the body, and so you're going to introduce the oils by doing a zigzag into those regions by going all the way down, okay? And then you're going to go ahead and then you're going to do the 5 zone. Oops, excuse me. They do the region tissue pull. I had to mix the order up because it fit better down here. So the 5 zone tissue pull is next. And then we're going to do the pinpoint zone activation. Okay. So going through and actually, I'm wrong. I apologize. The 3 region foot activation is first. Then we're going to do the 5 zones. So you take your thumbs and you walk them down. You don't overlap the thumbs like this. You actually stair step them like you're going down a ladder. Okay. You want to make sure you're doing them nice and soft touch. And what you're doing is you're pushing those oils and trying to touch all of the points of the foot where we have all those acupuncture points and all that, right? So it's really important to do that. Then the last step is where we take our thumb and our fingers, and I like to squeeze the whole foot and pull down to the toe. And then I go down and I pull down to the second toe. And then I pull down, and it feels so good when you do that right. And so going through and doing this, I do it 3 or 4 times on the foot this way because people love that. It kind of wakes them up a little bit too. And so it's a really nice effect. Now, we use the wild orange because it's energizing. It's going to wake the body back up. It's actually going to leave the person with a happy tone because the wild orange promotes the serotonin levels, which is calming and relaxing, and but also happy. And so it's really important for supporting the antioxidant, as known as glutathione. And every cell in the body is dependent on that, and it's really important. So step 8, we're going to cover the feet up. So working on one foot first, then doing the second foot, we cover the feet up and then we go back to the back. And then we're going to introduce the wild orange again, just like the first step we started with, like in the balance oil, we're just going to do the palm circulation slide. So what you're going to want to do is you want to do the wild orange, put a few drops on the back with that, and then put that on, and then do the peppermint. Put that on, and then you do the 3 palm circulation slide, all connecting those two oils. And then you're going to release by going to the bottom of the neck and to the great divide on the buttock area. And then you're going to hold it there until you feel like it's time to release and let the body um, be taken care of, right? You take the blankets and put back over the body and let the body rest for a minute. I usually, before I get started in the whole technique, I usually tell people that to rest after I'm done, I'm going to leave the room so they can rest. And when they're ready to get up, that they need to get up very slowly. And they'll be in their room by themselves. They can put their shirt on and get dressed or whatever. And that's really important for making sure that people feel private and they feel like they're taken care of that way. So peppermint oil, again, we just love peppermint in India. It has so many synergistic properties to it. It's again going to wake up the body. It's going to help you with your breathing and help things with your, from being sleepy, from the AromaTouch massage. It's going to help with that mental fatigue and depression and be able to get you feeling good and ready for the rest of the day. Now, step 9. So, step 9, I always forget this step, is the lymphatic movement. So, you want to go back to the feet and you can grab onto the feet like that picture shows, or you can put your hands totally on the bottom of the feet and push, just lightly push so the body rocks on the massage table. And you do that 3 to 4 times. And what's that doing? It's going to get that lymphatic system moving and get those oils into the body and help those toxins start releasing. So it's really an important step and important to get that drainage happening for the body, which again, then we want to make sure that the person is going to be drinking water. I always like to have a cold glass of water next to the table to give to them and tell them that's there when they get up and to drink that full glass of water and to spend the rest of the day drinking water. So we're going to be addressing lower heart rates. We're going to be addressing the anxiety levels, the stress levels, and lowering the stress markers and lowering the inflammation markers. And so the short-term effects are, again, the heart rate and the stress. That's going to be a short term, but the long term are going to be the inflammatory and the stress. So it's really important if you think that somebody has high acuity. My question is often asked, how often do you do it? You can do this every day to one person. Like if somebody's really experienced some heavy stuff, you can do this every day. And it's not going to be an overload, right? It's really going to be beneficial. But you can also do it maybe once a month to somebody. So, what you need to be able to do this is a robe. You need a shirt that can be turned around and buttoned up, or a robe or something like that. You need a massage table, but it's not required. I like to have blankets there. So, if you're using the edge of a bed or something, that works too. Um, you can have plenty of water available, soft music, and then, of course, the AromaTouch Technique kit. And here in where I live, we get snow. It's a very cold environment, unlike India. So I sometimes will warm up my oils by putting them in a bottle, in a bowl with warm water. So before we get started, because there's nothing miserable than putting ice cold oils on somebody's back, right? So it's kind of nice to get them warm. And then I like to have the handout so people know what we're doing. So now, so of course you want to be quiet have low light and soft music and go for it. Now, who would like to get an AromaTouch massage? Anybody here? You ready for one? So I also wanted to show with you the hand technique. And when I was at the grand opening of doTERRA India, we actually taught this hand technique during the, and this is a handout that I actually designed. And so this is a good screenshot that you can have. And it's a wonderful way to actually have a class. You can have everybody in the class learn this hand technique and they can give it to each other. And it's a real fun way for everybody to experience the oils. So here's the AromaTouch Essential Oil Kit. And this has, again, the class that you can learn online. And it's a really nice class. You can go back and watch the videos again. So it's really powerful and so forth. It also comes with the coconut oil, which is really nice. And now, um, I want to share with you how you can make money real quick. How can you actually make money with the AromaTouch business? So basically, when we're talking about getting to know your customer, maybe you can use this as somebody signing up with a $150 kit or something. You can say, I'm going to give you an AromaTouch technique as part of your welcoming process. So let's look at the numbers. The AromaTouch kit was $250. Shoot, I have this in India rupees and I grabbed the wrong PowerPoint, you guys, but in the Indian rupees, if you can do the math on it, the Indian rupees is, we're going to break that down, and it's about 50 to 62 AromaTouch sessions that you can get out of 15 ml bottles. So if you are doing 4 drops to 5 drops on the back, it ranges, right? So if you were able to get, let's just say 50 AromaTouch sessions out of this kit, then it's about $5 per session. So what is that? Do you want to do the math real quick for you guys? You want to type it in the chat? Yvonne, do you know what that cost is for $5 in Indian rupees? Um, so $5 Indian rupees, I'm going to say that's about 78 Indian rupees. Am I right on that? Maybe I could be wrong. What's that?
Yeah, right. നിർത്താം നേർച്ച വേണമെങ്കിൽ പ്രാർത്ഥന ലേറ്റ് ആവില്ല
500 is kind of roughly
Yep, we can't hear you. So go ahead and so
500 rupees.
എന്നാ വേണ്ട ഞാൻ പപ്പ തന്നെ
okay, so I can't hear what they're saying. So now what we're going to do is we're going to decide if you charge $50. Let's say you charge 35,000 Indian rupees. Excuse me, 7,800 Indian rupees or 3,500 Indian rupees. Whatever you decide, if you charge 3,500 Indian rupees, you're making a really nice profit off that, right? And so you can go through and earn your money back pretty quickly on that cost. So is anybody asking questions on that? I just want to be sure. Yeah, but around 500. Thank you, you guys, for texting that in. I apologize. I actually even had this worked out, so I must have saved it in the wrong file. Anyway, so when we're going through and we're looking at how much money you can actually make from that whole kit, you can make $4,750. You guys, that's a lot of money that you can make by giving this AromaTouch technique. It's really important to go through and think about if you bought this kit getting started and you want to earn some money back very quickly, you can actually even be okay by charging half that much, right? If you charge $25 or 2,000 Indian rupees, you can really benefit yourself by earning money quickly. So again, another way you can go through and think about if you're doing this and you're doing, let's say you did 50 people with AromaTouch technique, you're sitting down with a person saying, how do you feel? Now, would you like me to introduce the oils to your friends? Shall we do a class at your house? And maybe you can sign up 10 people each month by giving them the AromaTouch technique, but could also consider that they have friends and family too, that you can actually ask them if they'd be willing to host a class because you're really interested in getting these oils in people's home. So if you were signing 10 people up a month because you're being very active and doing the AromaTouch technique, you could have approximately 120 new people in your organization in a year. And you can have approximately 15 new people you found that may be interested in introducing these oils to people all over India as well. So again, you can get started by having them sign up as a wholesale member, having them become a doTERRA wellness advocate. So you're going to want to have all of these things with you when you're doing the class. So I like to have the AromaTouch class sheet. So in case I have questions about the oils, I want to have an enrollment form, the enrollment kit so that they can decide if they want to get started with the AromaTouch, or if it's somebody who's also already a member, then ask them to host a class for you. So I hope this was helpful for you, you guys. I have the handouts, the PowerPoint, everything online for you if you want to do a screenshot of this QR code. I put the Canva template so you can save this template in Canva and you can adjust it to your needs. And then I have all the handouts and different things that you would want to use to print that out. So yeah, everybody's at any questions do we have? I'm going to go ahead and
Yes.
stop the screen
Yes.
share, and then I'm going to stop the recording.